Hi, this is Shane Williams, President and CEO of West Red Lake Gold Mines. We are a producing mine in Red Lake region of Ontario.
Shane, good to see you again. Q2 numbers out. Let's start with those, then I kind of get into what have you been doing, what's changed since I last saw you.
Yeah, so we just put out our Q2 results, actually. And really, it's been a step change for us, really, on a sort of a, you probably followed the story in your viewers and listeners. We put out Q1 recently, and the market didn't seem to like them. And so we had a bit of a pullback. But it was always our plan that it was going to be a staged ramp up over time. And so with these results we've put out, basically we just shown that we've kind of said what we were going to do, basically. Like in all metrics, we've doubled nearly. Our gold produced has jumped up 50%. Even our tons mined have jumped up 50%. Our grade has jumped up 20%. So all those metrics that are kind of moving are jumping up and stepped up. And we expect to see another step up in Q3. And so this year is all about ramp up, getting to that steady state, which is pretty typical, as you know, and your listeners will know, in the industry. But for me, most importantly, the mining rates. There's an average mining rate. If you check out we've jumped up tons of mined underground, throughput through the mill, all those metrics that are very important that are really leading indicators to gold produced. They're all really the metrics that I follow, and they're all happening as it wants to be. And as we move into the back half of the year, we're even looking at, we're actually mill constrained. As you probably know the history of this asset, they were never able to get the mining rates to where they needed to be. And that's kind of where we've got them now. And so we're actually in a position already that our mill is at capacity. And so we're looking at pushing that from permit capacity for the back half of the year, expanding that. So overall, very good results on a pathway to getting better.
Right, okay. And then, so are you at steady state, did you say, or you still working towards that?
No, we're not that steady state yet. We've another quarter probably of ramp up to get to that steady state. Yeah.
Right, and so how are things like grade? You said it's up. How's that reconciling against the model for this phase?
We will actually be putting now, Matt, in later in July, a kind of a full operation, more granularity. And one of the things we can show in that is kind of our reconciliation is working perfectly. The model, all the drilling we've done over the last 2 years, it's been over 200,000 meters of underground drilling. The model gold produced to what the model says we should is reconciling very, very well. So that's a key. That was a key technical risk, as you know, with this asset, associated with this asset. So that's been working very well, which has allowed us to ramp up underground tonnage, move the material with the confidence that now when we go to mine an area, we know that the models will mine this, we'll get the gold out. So that's really the confidence that you get as you get that model ahead of yourself, as you know, and get that drilling area.
Okay, like I say, I want to ask you a couple of questions on mining process and operations in a second. But here's the important one, which is: are you building up cash? Are you mining profitably?
So at the moment, we are. Yes, we are building up.
Okay.
Q1 we were break even when I had our Q1 results. As we get into Q2, we're building up cash in the balance sheet at the moment.
Right. Okay. And so obviously, this is always a kind of a complex mining operation. You were very conservative about how you would approach this. You obviously shown a kind of mine tonnage increase. You talked about where's that come from? Is that additional headings or available stopes? Or
it's more getting into development. It's additional stopes. Like we're at the rate now. It takes some time to build up, but we're working on 6 or 7 stopes in a cycle at a time. Between drilling them underground for drilling and then sealing them and stoping them and mining them. That sequence, to get that sequence right, takes a long time, as you're probably aware, and we're just getting to there now. We've another quarter of that to get to there, but that's where we're getting the tonnage. More importantly as well, we have a stockpile on surface as well now, Matthew. We've developed 15,000 ton stockpile of material on surface ahead of the mill. So my goal is always to get like a 1 month stockpile ahead of us, to give us that flexibility as well, and that's beginning to happen.
And in terms, obviously, the people are a big part of this. Obviously, they are learning, and I'm sure there's better mine sequencing and so forth as a result. But when I look at the kind of mine tons per day opportunity, it's the consecutive weeks that you're able to do that for, time after time after time? And how are you doing on that front, that consistency, as it were?
Yeah, I mean, again, in Q1 it was ramping up. Since early Q2, call it mid Q2, the mine is doing about 1,000 tons of material on the ground a day, or very, very consistently every day. We've done, and going for the back end of the year, it'll be about 1,000 tons of material every day underground. So, our mill can do 800 sort of permanent. So that gives you the balance of that stockpile is building 5,000 or 6,000 tons every month of a stockpile ahead of ourselves. So that we're seeing that consistency in our drilling rates, our development rates, and our mining rates, which is all key to get the goal.
Okay, and I think previously, the mining, the equipment availability was a problem, then utilization and so forth. Again, so
we're seeing those metrics. We bought a lot of equipment last year, if you recall,
right?
And it all came in the back end of last year. So we're seeing the benefit of all that new equipment and the capital that's been spent. I mean, we have 7 or 8 trucks now on brand new trucks. A lot of new equipment, which is helping that hinder. As you remember, we were left with very little equipment when we bought the mine. And so we've over time transitioned that fleet to a newer equipment. And we're seeing the benefits of that. We're getting that 75 to 80% availability. We're getting those material in. We're getting the people we need. And so that's all helping the transformation.
Right. And so where are we at with the kind of the average mine grade that you're aiming for? What approximately was it?
So we're now at around that 4 grams sort of grade. And we're stepping that up as we get forward. We'll get to that 6 to 7, 8 gram over the rest of the year. Because as we're getting down deeper into the system and that mining rate, that allows us to get to that higher grade. I don't know if you remember what the deposit looks like. The top of the deposit is very much remnant old areas. But now we're down into the part of the ore body that's less and less mined. And that 4447 we've talked about, and that 904. And as we get into that area, that's where we're seeing the increase. We had a 30% increase in grade from Q1 to Q2, and we expect the same from Q2 to Q3. So a lot of metrics are stepping up, the grade, the tonnage, etc. That's how we're getting that ramp up.
And you're getting a better sense of the kind of the mining dilution or loss as well as you can.
Yeah, we're getting that. We're getting that there. It's been honed in. We're getting that. We're not finding it as much as we are now, because interestingly, that we found is as we've gone into the mining, the old areas, we're finding that survey was a big issue, actually. Survey was off a little bit from the old timers, and we're finding that we're mining a lot more away from existing stopes. We're not actually mining. There was a story, if you remember, that was here, that we're mining right up beside old stopes and we wouldn't be able to mine them and everything. We're finding that that's not actually the case as much as you would think. So we're getting newer stopes away from that. So that's helping mine dilution, the ability to mine quicker, the bigger stopes, etc. So all that, and we're doing long hole now. No more, there's no cut and fill on Madsen. Everyone was saying, it's going to be all cut and fill. It's going to be hard to do. Everything we've mined to date has all been long hole, open stoping.
Okay, and which you talk about mining where you are now. So mining areas which supplied the majority of this quarter's ore for us in terms of.
And this was Austin and South.
Austin, okay, just Austin, not
Austin
South Austin
and South Austin, two different zones.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, two different zones were mining. Yeah.
And what's 777 going to be doing for you going forward?
Well, 447 is the higher grade non-remnant. There's an area of non-remnant area that has never been mined before. It's been newly defined. It's clean ore. It's higher grade. So that's where you get that bump up in grade. You get tonnage. That's where we're beginning to see the effect of that as we get into that now.
Right, and obviously we talk about we're around 4 grams at the moment, and we're going to move up 6.5 to. In terms of that, that blending and I guess predictability around. Because like it's another high grade nature of Madsen, right? Grade variability is going to come into it. Can you talk about how you manage that?
It all comes down to the model, really, actually. Having trust in the model, the resource model. And so what we're doing is, with all the drilling we've done, we're able to, in a sense, blend underground, if I would say a blend from a model perspective. We need to know where we mine, and we're doing silling, which is the sills in to get the material. and then the material itself. And that combination now we're able to, because we're drilled so far ahead of ourselves, like we're drilling now into 2027, into 28 material for the mine plan that allows us to plan that in a better sequence for access development, where we're mining, how we're mining, and where we're mining from, and that overall blend to build those mine plans. So that's taken a while to get there, but that's the key to these underground mines.
And you obviously talk about long hole stoping there a second ago. Are there any kind of stopes that you'd planned in 2026 which you've basically either downgraded, delayed, or removed, or whatever? You're obviously assessing stuff all the time.
Yeah, I mean, originally, the original plan of the mine, if I go right back to the feasibility and back to that, was a mix of long hole and cut and fill. Mining, long hole is bigger tonnage, lower grade. Cut and fill is higher grade, but lower production, lower tonnage. So gold price is also a factor, I would say. With the increasing gold price, obviously cutoff grade can come down a lot more, which allows a lot more material, which allows us to switch to that long hole mining. So a lot of that smaller mining has become into tons. So we've translated that, been able to take more material at lower grade to put it through the mill, which, if I go back to the original operators, Pure Gold time, they had a very, very high grade underground mine. I don't see that going forward. I see a lower grade, higher tonnage mine, which is always a translation as you move from these higher grade cut and fill, narrow vein to more long hole stoping. Still high grade, but not as high grade as they planned. So that's the transition we're seeing when you talk about the grade.
Right, and talk to me about, because obviously, like, as a producer now, you're putting to the market, your share register is more institutional, and they're going to judge you on a bunch of different things. So, I think retail will judge you on how many ounces produced. You said you're going to produce 10, you produced 8, right? But the margin is there, the gold price is there. Does that kind of cut you some slack, as it were? Because ultimately it's about, is this company making money?
Yeah, ultimately people are very focused on Madsen, as you're already aware, on the resource. Is the gold there, the grade? But ultimately, as we transition, it's all about ounces produced, and are we making money on those ounces? Like, we are a business, we need to get there. And so for me, what's important is getting the tons and the grade. And we have some slack, as I said, give you an example, Pure Gold needed to mine 6 or 7 grams. We need to mine 4 grams at the same sort of, to make the same margin. So that, these sort of mines are very sensitive to gold price, both up and down. As I said, their previous operators, Pure Gold, they were mining for $2,500, $3,000 an ounce. Unfortunately, gold was at $1,500 an ounce at the time. But when you look at it today, even with all that, if we're mining at that rate, we're still making a good margin. So margin, gold price helps, gives you some leeway as we ramp up, for sure.
Right, and so if we look at Q3, because obviously, like as you said, the market's flat would be a kind word. There's a lot going on out there, and I think most equities have been subdued somewhat. For Q3, what's going to be the thing that we should be looking out for? How do we judge you? Because obviously, technically, people have been concerned about, can these guys do it? You're now producing. What next?
I think for Q3, for me, it's important to show the market that gradual step up, the ramp up. We're doing a ramp up. I think previous operators ramped up and then they came down and ramped up and down. And it's that consistency of ramp up. I want to try and show the market that Q1 was X, then we've jumped up maybe 20% or 30% to Q2, and then there'll be another jump up to Q3. That's kind of, we can show that steady state ramp up both in grade and tonnage and ounces produced, then the market can get that confidence that, we're getting to that steady state, we're getting where we need to be, basically.
Right, and obviously you've issued guidance for 2026, and there is a ramp up, etc. Clearly, I think you were somewhere like 35 to 45,000 ounces, right? So at the moment, obviously, because it's a ramp up, expectation for H2 would be what?
Yeah, expectation for H2 would be probably 25 to 30,000 ounces. 30,000 ounces, yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. And obviously, like, the main shareholders continue to be supportive. You're not seeing any pressure there. what does the board expect from you personally, and what's expected of the board from the kind of major shareholders that came in?
Yeah, I think the board really are focused on consistency. You know, there's some, obviously on our board, there's people like Duncan Middlemass, who's very technical, understands, he's been through West Storm. And so he's watching the metrics like I am. The key metrics, are we getting the tonnage where we need to be? Are we getting the ramp up? Are we getting the gold? Are we getting the recovery? All those things are very important. Cash flow as well, obviously. We've some getting that cash. Are we building cash on the balance sheet? Are we gradually building that up over time? Because remember as well, we've also started paying debt now. You know, we took on some debt. We've debt loads to pay. So there's as we're ramping up, it's at the right time to be ramping up, because as we're done, we're paying debt, we're paying down some debt, etc., etc. So all those are good metrics as we're ramping up.
Okay. Well, look, Shane, appreciate you coming on and reminding us about how this thing's moving forward. We'll see you soon.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you.